You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Sponsored by Treebor Soft Mints. Absolute Radio.
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. That was Helmholtz Resonators with Oompa. I feel like we're off. Do you know what I'm saying? We're off and away. This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily and Gareth in a small studio in Golden Square, London, a large conurbation in the southeast of England. Everything's going quite well. If you want to text us, you can do it on 8 12 15. Our guest today is Andi Osho. All things Oshovian will be discussed later if you receive my meaning. OK, we're off. So, I tell you what, the producer was bending over this morning in the office. Before I go any further, it is a woman, but she's got jeans on. It wasn't a lewd moment, but I had a flashback.
It wasn't Dick Emery.
No, to my school days. Whenever anyone bent over, you always kicked them up the behind. Always.
Do you?
It was an absolute. That was it. There was no question about that. You kicked them up the behind quite hard. I mean, on a good day, you'd actually lift them from the ground.
Oh, my God.
And I only just realised that dies out in adult life.
I'm not having your hobnails anywhere near my city shorts.
No. I noticed you've gone for a short.
I've gone for a city short.
I mean, it's January.
Oh, dear, we're going to have to learn. I'm taking you to a catwalk show, so you're going to have to learn about fashion.
I'm looking forward to the catwalk show, I must say, very much. I like an event. Do you know what I mean? I like to get out and do something. I like an arthouse movie, par exemple.
Oh.
And I went to see one this week with my girlfriend and a couple of friends, and we went to see a thing called Uncle Boon Me, who can recall his bass light. Not his bass line. It's just I said Uncle Boon Me and I thought he better not. But
I used to be a bass.
Uncle, yeah. Uncle, funny you should say that, because there was quite a big fish scene in
Billy Bass.
Uncle Boon Me can recall his past lives. And Big Mouth Billy Bass was not in it. He doesn't seem to get the work he used to.
No. He
never graduated from the plaque. That's what I've always felt about Big Mouth Billy Bass. Don't worry. Be happy. Well, try and say it now. You're unemployed, you big carp. Oh, obviously he's a bass. What am I saying? I couldn't think. I thought, what kind of fish is Big Mouth Billy Bass?
There's a clue. There's a clue in the name.
Well, I made such a fool of myself. You know, there is a scene in Uncle Boon Me who can recall his past lives when a woman has what I can only describe as a physical relationship with a fish.
Wow.
Is there?
Ah, yeah.
It sounds a very odd film.
There's a lot of bubbling. The water's bubbling like a stew, like a strange country stew.
Did you go to one of those cinemas, Frank, where you can't get popcorn, you can only get sort of flapjacks and coffee?
I went to, one of those cinemas where you have to stay in till all the writing's gone at the end of the film. I mean, come on, who cares who the grip is?
And the lady behind the counter doesn't wear makeup, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't notice that, but I can tell from what you're saying that there could be no greater sin.
I've heard that film's quite good.
Have you? That was wrong.
Oh.
It's got fabulous reviews. There is one bit when they're all sitting around outside. I think it's set in Thailand. They're all sitting around at dinner outside. And suddenly the ghost of the bloke's dead wife materialises.
Is this Boon Me?
No, Boon Me is the bloke. Uncle Boon Me.
Yeah.
So Uncle Boon Me's dead wife turns up.
Right.
And says, Boon Me. And he says it's too late.
Oh, God.
So that's a big moment. A ghost materialises at the dinner table. I don't know about you, but for me, I don't know if I'd eat anything else after that. And it causes a bit of a stir, but he takes it quite well, old Boon Me. But then the ghost of his missing son turns up.
Oh, too many ghosts.
No, hold on now, but it's... Yes, the broth.
How many are there?
The broth was completely ruined. I didn't even know it applied to ghosts. I thought it was just the cook thing. Anyway, the ghost of his missing son turns up. Turns out the ghost of his missing son has had a physical relationship with a monkey ghost and become like a monkey. So his eyes glow absolutely bright red. When you just see you in footsteps, like monkey footsteps coming up the stairs. You know, monkey footsteps.
It sounds like some Derek Acora thing. It doesn't sound like an art house film, ghosts and things.
My girlfriend...
I'm also worried about the spoilers, because I think his dead son turning up and he'd had physical relations with the monkey was probably going to be a surprise in the film.
Well, I was surprised. I didn't see it coming, I'll be straight with you. Although As I said, you can hear the monkey feet on the stairs. You know that sound of monkey... You must have heard monkey feet walking up a wooden staircase. OK. He had bright red glowing eyes, the monkey, which was never explained. I shudder to think what his bottom was like. I mean, they're fairly red and glowing at the best of times. But what I loved about that scene was that this ghost had just materialised, the dead wife. She was completely upstaged by the big monkey ghost turning up, because obviously he was a monkey. And you could see she was a bit, why turn up now? That was me. And that was my big moment, everyone. And then the monkey ghost comes and completely steals it. Anyway.
So you stayed there, you didn't walk out or anything, even though you hated it?
My girlfriend revealed after that she hated it so much that halfway through the film she started crying. She physically cried with frustration. And she said to me after, in all honesty, I said, you didn't like it, did you? She said, I'm never ever going to the cinema ever again. And she was utterly sincere. I mean, can you... I didn't like it. It was, it was all right. There was a monkey ghost in it. And a woman, with a fish thing. I mean, it had its pluses. We'll say that for Uncle Boone Mead. Recalls his past lives, but there's no need to cry.
Was it boring? Was she bored to tears?
She was bored. She was physically bored to tears. That can actually happen, and if it can happen once, it can happen twice, so stick around.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
The only one I know, Charlatans. It's good, that.
Yeah.
Very good. Tempted to say my Bobby and Jackie Charlatan thing, but I'm not going to do it. What happened to Suzanne Charlatan? Do you remember her?
Oh,
the daughter.
I thought she was a weather girl or something.
Yeah, she was. She was Bobby's daughter, if I remember rightly. She's probably got sacked because she was too old. That's what happens, apparently. So, let's see what we haven't done for ages.
Saturday morning!
What about that? I thought maybe I'd give it up as a New Year's resolution, but now there it is.
We were talking about being bored to tears.
Yeah.
And over Christmas, I think I was bored to tears for the first time.
Do you mean literally to tears?
Literally, I knew what that meant.
You see, I've heard this phrase, bored to tears. So go on.
Well, it was like Christmas had already happened, and it was one of the days following Christmas. I think Boxing Day had passed.
Oh, no, it's that period.
I was still in the family lockdown mode, where you are, basically trapped in a Christmas lift with your loved ones.
Looking at each other.
And I did loved ones in quotation marks.
You did. It didn't quite work on the radio. I felt something in the intonation.
We felt the benefit.
So
December 28th
through something
31.
like that, and you're just not allowed to do anything you want to do. And I think it was a moment when there was a bad children's film on telly, but I got into it a little bit.
Not the Railway Children.
No,
I
think it was one about penguins who can dance, something like that. Penguins.
Oh,
dancing.
that one.
And even though
that's not so much a film as a genre.
Even though it's not a good film, I'd got quite attached to it. But then someone decided the telly was going off, so they switched it off.
That's always like a moral decision. Isn't it? Come on, we're going to talk now. Telly's going off. I don't want to talk. Let's not talk. Let's watch the dancing peg. No. What I hate is the holier than thou attitude of turning the telly off.
Yeah.
If you feel like that about it, don't turn it off. Take an axe to it.
It's always the upper hand. And as they did that, as the dancing penguins went off, tears formed in my eyes.
Really?
Really?
And I thought, I'm bored to tears.
I'm so happy that one can be literally bored to tears. It's a brilliant thing. Because I honestly thought that was just a turn of phrase, and now I have two examples at my fingertips. Should it ever crop up again?
I've never experienced that, I have to say.
Well, stick around. That's because you've never been out with anyone for more than about 6 months.
Oh no, it's far too busy in my flat, darling, to ever get bored.
How's that turnstile? Have you had it fixed?
Still fully operational.
But the thing is with a film, though, is that it's... Do you take that big moment when you actually walk?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
We've walked out of...
I've walked out of The Goonies when I was 14.
The Goonies?
Awful film. I remember being 14.
Piece.
It's not a seminal piece. They're chubby children in anoraks going, oh, whoa, neat. I walked out.
That'd be a great review. It should be on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. Okay. I've never seen The Goonies.
Yes.
Don't.
Okay,
It's awful.
I won't.
No, I didn't like that. I didn't want to.
Uncle
sit
Goonie,
through
who
that.
can recall his past lives. Perhaps it's a sequel. I hadn't realised. Well, I went to see Mark Almond.
Oh.
You know him?
How was he? He's often not well.
Well, what happens? He came on and he said he did the first song and he says, "Graham, I'm really looking forward tonight." He said it's going to be about 3.5 hours, and I thought, I've got to get out of here now. Now, there are things to learn from that. Never tell the audience how long something's going to be, unless it's going to be short. Because it was like, had it been 3.5 hours without any warning, come 2 hours, I'd have thought, I think we're going to have to leave now. But I wanted to go after the first song once he told me, because I didn't even want...
That's your moment. That's that. If you stay any longer, then...
Well, I think 3.5 hours, it's going to be like a Ribena with too much water. Because you're going to have to... So the whole thing is going to be thin and tasteless. So and then there's the thing, if you're known, if you're a face...
Oh, you'll be spotted.
Then you're liable to get on Twitter, Frank Skinner seen walking out of Mark Ullman, and then you look at like a beast.
Well, that's going to start a whole load of other rumours.
Well, exactly. What do you mean? So anyway, not a whole pint. I never believed that. Anyway, so I never believed. No, so I did though. I think sometimes you have to just protect yourself. I mean, I went to an opera at the Colosseum in London, and after the first act, the thing is, they invited me especially. I had a laminate. There was a champagne reception after it was all set up, and I thought, if I'm not here for that, it'll be so embarrassing. I'll be such a bad person that I was invited and didn't go to the thing. Nevertheless, after the first act, I physically ran. And when I got outside the theatre, I ran for, I would say, a quarter of a mile. I ran with the sheer joy of getting out of there. Like a man, when you see people... Those bits in films when someone's released from prison and there's a car waiting for them outside and they have their 70s clothes in a brown paper bag. It was like that. And I ran and the joy of it. I'd like to know what our crazy listeners do if they're stuck in a very tedious situation they feel they can't get out of. I imagine they just switch on to Capital. But anyway, you can text us on 81215. Text us about anything. We want to hear from you. I feel... strangely neglected this morning, like a piece of wasteland. Do you know what I mean? Maybe just some stained mattresses and a person on it. I don't know. My mind goes places, and I think I can't say that on the radio. I'll have to just.
This isn't going on for 3 hours, is it?
No, like you're not going to cry, are you?
It's just a
don't cry yet. Give me a chance, for goodness' sake.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio. Frank, we've had an email in. This is from Peter Thompson.
Go on, Peter Thompson, who used to play on the wing for Liverpool and England.
Well, I don't know if it's the same one.
I'd be very excited if it is.
Peter says, last week, whilst enjoying a nice midweek day off, I caught a repeat of The Good Life on one of the digital channels.
Fair enough.
It was then that
just to get you in the mood for it.
It was then that
Imagine an encircling bird, if you will.
Petals of a flower.
Oh,
petals
yes.
of a flower.
Disappearing or appearing? Oh. It was then that I heard the character Jerry, who was talking about his neighbours, played by Richard Bryce and Felicity Kendall, and he said, Tom and Barbara Good. Only then, after years of watching repeats of the programme, did I get it. The Good Life not only refers to the old saying, but also their surname. I felt like an idiot.
Yeah, well...
Idiotic eureka moment.
Yes,
Brilliant.
This is what we call on the show an idiotic eureka moment, when you realise something many hours, weeks, months too late. That's really quite late, because that's from about 74.
I didn't know that either.
No,
you didn't know that?
No.
It's funny how things like that, though, they only work in the first episode, because there's nowhere to go with that joke. It's only for the pitch.
Is it even a joke?
And it's called The Good Life.
Are we calling it a joke?
Yeah.
Well, frankly, it's a pointless pun.
It's a reference.
Yeah.
It's a vague reference.
It's not a coincidence, because they've done it on purpose. It's not like, that's funny how...
Yeah, but that could be sort of every written joke.
Yeah.
Couldn't it?
Frank Carl from Scunthorpe has just texted in a good tip to leaving early. He says, Frank, the tactic to leaving early is hold your phone up to your ear, and as you leave, be saying stuff like, is she okay? And I'm on my way now.
Brilliant. That is brilliant. Yeah.
I like Carl
that
from
would have got some stairs at the Mark Almond. Yeah, I once saw Ian Botham walk through, I was at Lord's cricket ground, and he had to walk past a bunch of sort of beery lads, and he was on the phone saying, well, we need to sort it out as soon as possible. And I thought, you're not on the phone. I just knew he was just holding the phone to his ear and pretending he was on the phone to avoid talking. But that's a very good one. One imagines a sort of a sudden pregnancy moment thing when he's had to dash.
Well, there's another text in as well with someone related to that saying, I've been so bored with the people next to me at work-related dinners that I've locked myself in the loo and sat changing the settings on my phone.
That's where you realise you've walked out in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And you haven't walked out, you've just walked into a tiny room.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. You're storming out. You did the storming out thing. And you think, there's no external door here. I've stormed in, is what I've done, which is always a terrible error. Well, I had a bit of a good life moment. I stayed in the other night on my own. Oh. And if you live with someone, it's a very beautiful experience. I live not only with my girlfriend at the moment, but my girlfriend's sister also lives with us. So it's a bit man about the house. Oh, what's the tune to that?
Oh. Very good. I'd say it's more ba-ba-ba, because that was 70s.
Yeah, there'll be three women going ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. The ladybirds, probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Nevertheless, we... So they went out for the night, so I had a night in, and it's a special thing, I think, when... You know, it's nice to live with people, but it's nice to have a night in on your own. I got me floppies on.
Oh.
You know your floppies? All the clothes you've got that don't have any zips in them.
Yeah.
Or buttons.
You do wear those all the time, though.
Yeah, so I got them on quite early, though.
Okay.
I was in them at about 7. Normally it's a 9 o'clock job. I got the lenses out. I was completely... I'll tell you what else. I had an eye test.
Microscope.
I had no, I didn't get that out.
Spying on that neighbour again.
I had to... Can you do that with a microscope?
Tiny neighbour.
The borrowers.
Tiny neighbour.
Oh, yeah, that bacteria that lives next door. So, no, I had an eye test. And you know when you go in the eye test room and they say, can you just rest your chin on that?
Oh, yeah,
it's like a thing you rest your chin. And when I was having my night in, I thought, I wish I'd got one of them. I would have so happily watched the telly with a chin rest. You wasn't able to buy them.
Chin rest.
Can you buy them?
I don't know, but...
Well, let's see if any optometrists are...
All I'm saying, 28th of this month is my birthday. I'd love a chin rest. I say that, I don't know if you've noticed, I've got
Jimmy Hill will have one.
Well, I've got... yeah, but I don't know if I can get into that one. This is... I've got quite a big head, you may have noticed.
Yes, you have.
It's quite... I mean, it weighs at least as much as the rest of my body. I played the Elephant Man in the school play. All I needed was a bit of blusher. That was it. So anyway, I hadn't got that, but I stayed in. I did steak. It was a male night. I wanted the whole... flat to smell of meat. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
So I did steak and I did eggs. I thought, no, I won't have vegetables. I mean, on my own.
Steak and eggs? They're like Cat in the Hat. Horrible meal.
Yeah, it's like being a lion. Do they eat eggs? Oh, no, there aren't eggs. Anyway, and I watched all 2 hours of Fritz Lang's, you know, Fritz Lang, the German, the silent movie, Metropolis.
Wow.
I watched that. That was my night in. It's absolutely blissful. Is it the best thing? A night in on your own. I wouldn't want a life of bleak loneliness, but the occasional night in on your own is such a... When I used to live on my own, I remember one night watching Sergeant Bilko at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was completely naked. I was eating beans out of a tin, and I thought, this is living. And you never quite get back to that. But, it was a joyous experience. But more of this, but I'm going to play a song, one of my choices. So, you know, get over it. This is Lulu and the Lampshades with Cold Water.
This is Frank Skinner.
Absolute
Radio.
Yeah, so that was me staying in. I'll tell you what, the other thing I did as well is I put the telly up quite loud. Even though it was a silent film. obviously there's music. Because I find now, I don't know if I'm going deaf, but we spoke last week about, I watched the new Italian cop thing, and I had a bit of trouble understanding what they were saying. But my girlfriend is always saying to me, God, that's loud, about the telly. And sometimes about the ukulele, admittedly, but there is no volume control. I played that a lot on my night in as well. Great thing about a silent movie is
you got quite a lot done on that night in.
Well, it was one of those. I'm like, get another night in for, a week or two. I want to live it up.
Busy.
What do you do, Gareth? Do you tend to...
Yeah. Chicken wings. I think it's just like...
Chicken wings? Hold on, I think that's your apprentice night with Laura is chicken wings.
Yeah,
yes, but he still has to have what he does with Laura. He can't invent his own dish.
No, but the thing is, when Laura's not there, I have to share them. And you can have them all to yourself. Just, an obscene amount of food.
How many chicken wings would you get?
I think it comes in a pack of about 10, the packs.
Is that right? Is that what they pack them in? 10s?
Yeah, sort of 10 or 12.
Yeah, they're taking the decimal system with chicken wings. I imagine they'd come in dozens for some reason. So you could get through 10 easily.
Chicken wings. Sometimes a bath, a really long bath, where you wait till it gets cold and then put some more hot water in.
Oh, one of those.
That long.
Oh, I don't like men in baths. Horrible.
Well, I actually bathe in chicken wings. Oh, no, so the bath would be the last thing I'd want to do. I hate baths. I want to get in, get scrubbed, get out. I don't want to wallow in my own filth.
Yeah, but we know you've got a prison approach to showers and baths.
Yeah, totally. I also put about 3 inches of water in it. I think that's because I'm slightly frightened of water, generally speaking. I can't swim. I don't like it up round my throat.
Oh, okay.
Oh God, no.
And then a film about penguins dancing, probably.
But you would. What would you watch? What would be your?
No, probably like maybe some West Wing. Watch some.
Well, it's very wing themed. Do you have a nice maybe a Red Bull? A Red Bull, a story about Stanley Matthews' biography.
And have someone from the Air
maybe
Force
play some
in.
Jet on the stereo.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw some badges on an Air Force uniform.
Yeah. I'm liking a theme night.
Oh, I love his wings night in, Frank.
You know what? I might do that, Next time I have a night in, I'll try and theme it in some way. I might dress up. It's not out of the question.
Design some sanitary pads. I do all sorts on that.
Oh, I can't believe it.
God. Oh, God.
Oh, dear. I mean, I don't know where to... Just a minute.
I do.
Well, that's cleansed the whole thing out. What about...
Well, you see, this is... Welcome to my world, honey. This is my life. I get this fun every night. But the problem is, unless I have a gentleman caller, and then you have to put that on hold, which is most irritating. Because you have to put your clothes on the right way round. Because I find...
Oh, hold on a minute.
No, often, hear me out on this... On a night in, if it's just me and I don't have friends or gentleman caller, I will put my clothes on inside out because I can't be bothered to put them on the right way.
Oh, I thought you meant facing backwards. No. That's just a thing you do for a lark. Try and confuse the neighbours.
No, but I don't bother. If I've got a T-shirt and I think, I can't be bothered to put it the right way around, no one's going to see it.
It's interesting. I know I've name-checked my girlfriend a lot today, but I've noticed, things happen, and when a relationship gets like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, things start, things that when one used to make the effort. And I've noticed more and more she wears clothes inside out around the house.
Does she? Oh, good on, Kath. I didn't know she did that.
It's almost deliberate. I'm living in a world of seams.
And dry clean only labels.
So, but the novelty must wear off when you live on your own.
Not really.
No?
No, because also what I like is I don't have to use plates. So if I want to eat, I can just use any vessel I choose. Because I don't have to stand on ceremony. I don't have to go through all that rigmarole.
So you might eat, like, spaghetti from a carafe?
Yeah, or a glass bowl or a cup or something. It's great.
Kath will sit next to me with a saucepan and eat straight out of the saucepan.
She?
Yeah. Because it warms her as well at the same time. Yeah. All these things now I'm saying, to me, obviously they're normal. You two are looking at me like, does she? Right. Yeah, well, we're all different. I think you'd agree with that. Yeah, it's a special experience, though. It's something that, I wouldn't want to live on... I wouldn't want to live on my own again. But, the coziness, the return to the womb. You can almost hear the heartbeat.
The wings.
That'll be it.
The beat of the wings.
That'll be the beat of the wings, of course.
We only have this excerpt. This is Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Oh, that was The Clash. God, I remember seeing The Clash support Suburban Studs at Barbarella's in Birmingham, 1976, I think. And then we went to see them at the Top Rank at Dale End in Birmingham, and my mate had got a padlock round his neck, as a lot of punks did, and they wouldn't let him in because of that, and he hadn't got the key.
Oh, it's a shame.
Really, and it was too tight to just take off over his head.
Yeah, he couldn't get it over his head. No, it was.
Poor mate with the I bet it was one of those cheap ones from Woolies as
Imagine not getting into a Clash gig because you can't get your padlock off. What could be more frustrating than that? That's this week's phone-in. What could be more frustrating than not getting into a Clash gig because you got a padlock round your neck? I'm looking forward to those answers. Andi Osho has just arrived.
Yeah?
I don't often notice the guests arrive, but she took the trouble to wave. Yeah, often they just look at you like you're rubbish. But no, she was very friendly. Andi will be with us after the 9 o'clock news. You can text us on 8 12 15, by the way. That was a hint. I've had one of my offers has come in. I like to. Sometimes I can't decide. I have an offer and I think, I can't. And I like.
You like to run it past us.
I like to run it past you. I've been offered. It's a big one. It's a celebrity cube. Why are you smirking?
The cube.
The cube, yeah.
The Cube, what, that ITV show? Shiny floor.
Well, then you've already put me off it. I've never seen
Philip Schofield's on it.
Philip Schofield.
Oh, Pippi's okay.
Look what it's done to him. He had black hair when he started.
The man's gone white.
Yeah, he's had a terrible Marie Antoinette experience with the show. Yeah, well, the
Have
thing
you seen
is,
The Cube, Frank?
well, bear in mind that, the background to this is I recently turned down The Magicians and Famous and Fearless. Both of which, when I watched, felt like a near-death experience. You know, when people say, I was in a car crash and they managed to cut me out with oxyacetylene equipment, and ever since then, I've re-evaluated my whole life. Well, that's what it's been like, right? And I don't want to step out of the frying pan into the foyer of ITV.
Very good.
So, yeah, but I haven't seen The Cube, and I've asked a couple of people about it, and it seems...
What do they say?
Well, they like it. People do like it.
What would you say, Gareth? I've seen the celebrity edition. I saw Joe Swash on it.
Joe Swash, I'm not doing it. Okay, so what shall we talk about next? You saw who?
Ricky Hatton.
Well, Ricky Hatton, I don't
very
mind.
Competitive. If there's anything,
I want Joe Swash's sloppy seconds? Now, if his seconds are listening, of course, they'll take that as a personal slight.
Joe Swash, well, exactly. Joe Swash on it. I do recall him saying...
It'd be Ricky Hatton who had seconds, not Joe Swash. Yeah. Sorry.
Joe Swash.
Unless Joe Swash has ever been in a duel. I've never heard of that.
Oh, he looks like he has.
I imagine if Joe Swash was in a duel, he arrived waist ground first thing in the morning with flintlocks, I bet he'd have sloppy seconds. That's what I'm thinking.
Joe Swashbuckling.
He did say to Pippi Schofield...
Pippi?
Yeah. I worked with him.
Okay.
He did say to Pippi Schofield, I'm very starstruck of The Cube. He said he was starstruck of the cube.
Well, the cube itself, the actual physical structure that is the cube. That's an interesting thing to be starstruck about.
No, if there's anything more frustrating than being locked in a padlock that's around you, it's the cube.
Oh.
It's lots of very irritating games that you have.
Can you give me a par example?
Like you have to bounce a tiny little bouncy ball into a box.
I'm doing it. I've got Swash on one hand and the bouncy ball into... That's the sort of thing I do a lot.
Yeah. I think you'd like it, but it's very annoying.
I remember
you have to walk in a straight line, Frank, as well.
I can do that nowadays. I remember doing that after... I did a gig somewhere at Manchester or something, and I decided I couldn't leave the dressing room until I'd thrown this rolled-up piece of sticky tape into the bin. I was there till about 10 to 12.
Well, you only have 9 lives.
You only have 9 lives
on the cube, yeah. Okay. So you have 9 goes.
And you have to choose a charity. Joe Swash chose knife crime.
Knife crime?
Yeah. I didn't think it was very appropriate.
No. Knife crime that's a charity, knife crime. Seems to be helping the wrong people.
Well, enough of it. Enough of it about.
What do? You spent on steel? refining steel. Is that what happens there? And I've already. I've got something else actually. Something else on the charity front. Listen to this.
You're rustling. Oh, what have you got?
I'm not frying bacon. People at home think I'm frying bacon. I've got my crisps are out.
The crisps.
Wow. My crisps are out. It's all over. Yeah, my crisps are out.
Can we eat them?
I'm going to give you some in a minute. They're called roast Frank. What they called?
Roast dinner.
Frank roast dinner.
Frank roast dinner.
This is part of the comic relief thing. I have mentioned this before, and I actually had a thing from Walker saying, "Can you not mention this on air? It's top secret." But
Did you get told off?
I didn't get told. I got told off by Walker's Crisps. Can you imagine that?
Oh, shame.
Yeah, but I've bounced back, and I was a bit crinkled for a time, and slightly salted. But yeah, I've bounced back, and I think we should try. We might get some out after the news. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Oh, I'm up for a Frank roast dinner.
You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, the softest, mintiest show in town. Sponsored by Tree Bar Soft Mints.
Absolute Radio.
I'm eating my own crisps.
So we have the crisp before us.
We've got the packet.
The packet.
I'm holding the packet.
I should say these are called Frank roast dinner.
Yeah.
And every time you buy a packet, some money goes to Comic Relief. That is my justification for being on a crisp packet.
Oh my God, that's horrific. 182 calories.
I don't know what that means.
On the plus side, you look rather handsome in that picture.
Yeah. Well,
yes, my picture is on the front of the packet.
My packet's going a bit crinkly, so your face gets distorted in.
No, my face is a bit crinkly.
Those are wrinkles.
Oh, no, yeah,
I immediately after I got up. You know, sometimes you get up and your face is folded in the night onto the pillow.
So why you didn't have to donate anything to create this flavor? It's not based on you in any way.
My DNA is in this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to taste it.
I'm a bit torn though, Frank.
I've heard that.
You and Jimmy Carr, you're meant to... It's the point, basically, because there are 4 other people involved, aren't there? So you have to choose...
3 other people.
Oh, yeah.
It's me,
whose
Jimmy
flavour?
Carr, Stephen Fry and Al Murray.
Oh, well, that's easy enough. So whose flavour raises the most? So I'm a bit torn. Well, I love Al as well. What am I going to do?
Well, you're going to have to decide who you love most.
Oh,
Let's put it this way, who pays your wages?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Nice.
Friendship is one thing. Nice, you liking them?
Nice.
Well, this is a great advert for these crisps. We won't mention the brand name again. But yeah.
Pedestrian racers.
So there's Stephen Fry up, Jimmy Con Carney, Frank roast dinner and steak and Al pie. Those are the options. This might still be top secret, I've just realised. But anyway, that's going to be... If you buy them, you send money to the... you probably buy a water pump. You know, they always buy water pumps on...
Yeah.
I was on a Comic Relief trip. We went to see...
thirsty.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything.
Well, that's why they need a water pump. But I went to see a water pump when I was in Burkina Faso. There was nobody there. Yeah. It just... You know, some of these water pumps in Africa, they just don't take off. You know what I mean? Like sometimes open a 10-pin bowling alley, you know, and people just don't go.
Frank, Tony in Cambridge texted in, Frank, I love Lulu in the Lampshades. Enjoy those crisps are really loud, Frank.
Sorry, I'll stop eating them now. Have you ever sat next to an open crisp packet and not eaten them? I mean, it is tortuous.
I'm glad you haven't torn them open.
No, I haven't done that.
No, in the egalitarian fashion. Yeah, Frank, love Lulu in the Lampshades. Enjoy your John Peel-esque choices of music. Oh, I like that. Whatever happened to Raymond Blanc? Tony in Cambridge. Gareth?
Well, that I think is a... There's only one thing before you... OK.
Well, our paths haven't crossed recently. We had that very meaningful one meeting in Winchester.
Yeah, you milked it for everything, that one. You met him once, and did he speak? I can't remember.
We spoke briefly. He mentioned Ethan, my son, and tried to give him ice cream or something.
Oh, yeah.
I should have been very bad.
Don't make him sound sinister. He was charming.
Yeah, out of a shoe. It wasn't. It was odd. It was an odd thing. So since then, your life has been, shall we say, sans blanc.
Yeah.
Well, that's where he's gone.
Yeah.
So,
do you think I can get back in touch?
Well, why don't you just hang around the restaurant and see what happens?
Seeing as you worked with Lee Mack for about 5 weeks and you still haven't got his number,
I really like not going out the other week, so if you could tell him.
We'll pass it on.
Yeah. Okay. I think I think that was a deliberate choice, wasn't it, by Lee not to give you this? He's not.
It's prudent. You don't get, hasn't got where he is today.
I'm not being funny, but he offered it the first time. Oh, no, that sounds awful. I'm not saying he was doing it in an appropriate way.
And then you were introduced and told you'd be doing a radio show together.
Can you do me a favour? Never on this show again say I'm not being funny.
No, but I do it in an ironic way. It's what fashion people do. Duh.
If people think we're not being funny, they can judge that for themselves. We don't want a confession on air.
Frank on radio. Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Andy Osho has joined us. Good morning, Andy.
Morning.
I'm going to give you a... Not everyone gets one of those.
Really?
No,
Honoured.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I discovered, actually, in my research, in my extensive Andy Osho research...
Did someone give that to you on a bit of paper this morning?
No. Your birthday is the 27th of January.
It is, yeah.
See, mine is the 28th. Now, does that mean... I don't know about things astrological. Does that mean that we are similar types of people because we were born... Well, obviously not just a few hours, a few years. But as far as where the, the arc of the Saturnian ring thing cycle was.
Well, all right. What sort of... Tell me some of your character traits.
I'm afraid of elves.
Yeah.
I'm essentially anti-Quaker.
Oh, my God, this is really weird. Yeah,
is it?
Yeah.
And I can levitate.
No way.
See?
We are like people.
Like sister and brother, we'll wave to everybody. I mean the people at home. Anyway, so Andy, you're on tour.
Yeah, not yet. I start on the 1st of Feb.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's called Afro Blighty.
It is, yeah.
Can I say, there's a thing that we have on this show called idiotic eureka moments, and it's when you realise, much later than you should, what a pun is or what something means. And I've read Afro Blighty 20 times this week before I realised it was a pun on Aphrodite.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
I think you knew.
I had a sneaky sister. It was yeah. Well, I felt like that when I thought of it. I was like, oh, hello. I want something there.
Did you actually think that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that was a proper eureka moment.
Yeah.
So if someone comes to see, and they will, obviously, Afro Blighty, what should they expect? You'll be there, obviously.
Yeah, I'm planning on turning up. They expect to be talked to. I like talking to the audience and no natter, because sometimes they don't. I don't. How do you find that, Gareth? Do they go in for that in your show?
Sometimes. In my Edinburgh show, no, I didn't do much of that. Didn't have time. Had too much stuff to get through. Sorry, no time. So no laughter.
Good.
They didn't so much talk as shout.
I like to have a chat though and get to know everybody first.
Yeah.
I mean, not individually, not one at a time, an interview or anything.
No,
but
well, that'd be a good idea though.
Do you reckon?
Just get them up on stage one at a time. I wonder if anyone's ever.
I think I might do that for next year then, because that means it's written.
I think Jerry. Well, yeah, I think Jerry Sadovitz did a TV show where he just got people on stage, interviewed them very quickly, and as soon as he got bored, he threw them off and got the next one.
Had them killed.
One series.
Yeah.
And also, you won Celebrity Mastermind.
Yeah, well, I had to point out, I won a Celebrity Mastermind. There seems to be a lot of them, so I won the Children in Need one.
Well, that's perfectly fine. Now, that's a proper bona fide.
Yeah.
And what was your specialist subject?
The Matrix.
See, that's brilliant. Someone told me that what she called Mylene Klass, when she was on Mastermind, she did Sex in the City Season 2.
Episode 18.
How close would they let you? How tightly can you contract your lens on Mastermind? Could you do Last Tuesday, for example?
I would love to, yeah.
Could I do me?
Your specialised subject is you. But how would you feel? See, that's dodgy ground, because how would you feel if you got questions wrong?
That'd be all right. People think I was modest and man of the people. And I had amnesia. I could deliberately fall and bang my head on my way to the chair.
They would do that on the Comic Relief one.
Anyway, this is not about me. It's about you. So you started out, Andy, as an actress, is that?
Yeah.
Well, you actually started out as a receptionist, is that right?
Well, I started out as a post-production supervisor. That was my job for sort of 10 years.
What does that mean?
It's like, like when shows get made and everything, the post-production supervisor's responsible
TV shows?
Yeah, and they make sure that everything gets edited and meets broadcasting standards and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of like not a technical job, more like an operational job. I was a telling people what to do type of person.
Sounds like a great job. That was your first job.
Well, I worked up to it. I started out working in a post-production company and then went freelance at the end.
So you used to be the other side of the camera.
Yeah, totally.
Do you think that's helped then now that you're on telly? Because the Channel 4 show is coming back, isn't it, in March?
Yeah,
Stand Up for the Week.
Yeah. Yeah, it does, definitely, because I think you know what's going on when you walk onto like a studio floor or like on set or something. You sort of know sort of what people are doing and stuff like that.
I bet they hate that when you say, can you put a G711 on that camera?
Yeah, that's it, because the temptation is, of course, to interfere with other people's jobs, sort of thing. Yeah, you need an ND filter on that, mate.
Yeah, give in to that temptation, that's what I say.
Never work again.
No, I used to do that thing, you record a show and you go, I'll cut that bit there, and I just cut. People don't like that. When they watch it back in the edit, you're looking into camera, telling them what to do. They just don't like it.
The idea learn something.
Yeah. So that's back in March. Now just get the plugs out of the way, then we can talk about life.
Oh, yeah, all right.
So the tour starts February.
Yeah.
And Stand Up for the Week is back on in March. And it's all going very well, right?
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
The Fia, Lily Allen, Andi Osho's with us. She used to be a receptionist. When you were a receptionist, did you have that voice?
Hello, ART, how can I help you?
Why does it have to be? I couldn't do a receptionist thing, but I could whistle.
You'd never get hired as a receptionist anyway.
But I think you could do it without the words. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
Andy, they always say, just putting you through. I like that.
I did all that.
But why does it have to be done in that tune?
Because but if you didn't, people wouldn't understand what you were saying, I think. People would just freak out, because we've got so used to it. It's just the law.
Did you never challenge, though?
No, I'm not really a rule breaker.
What was the name of the company?
ART Surveyors.
Hello, ART Surveyors. You're right, though. People would think, oh, my God, what's happened?
Well, they think they've called like an American sort of radio station of the, hey, ART, coming up next.
You could have done that film advert, ART Surveyors. Have a bit of fun with it.
I guess.
But I know what you mean. People would be thrown and you'd have probably been sacked.
But they wouldn't have known for quite a while, I think. I think I could have been discreet about it. Just
all the orders would have dried up. They'd have been suspicious.
I would have been long gone since then.
So you became an actress.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
Now, you did EastEnders.
Yes.
Now, I've often wondered, because I imagine they're quite a close-knit community, the EastEnders are. When you
the actors or the EastEnders? The real EastEnders?
No, they're not the real EastEnders. I know they're a close-knit community. I've seen, David Kossoff films in the 50s. Anyway, Kid for Two Farthings, you can't. That's the East End for me, so I never need to go there in the flesh.
We have a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. The Lord above, I read it all before, yeah. That's what they talk like, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I imagine that when you turn up to be an actor and you're not one of the regular cast, it can be a bit, are they friendly?
They are, but in a we know you're bricking it kind of way. So some of them make a lot of effort to be very, very, very nice to you.
Yeah.
But it's nice. That's nicer than just sort of being ignored. But they are, it's a close-knit thing going on over there.
It's difficult.
Weird, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like Mormons.
What did you play?
I've been in EastEnders 4 times, and I was a nurse every time, a different nurse.
Oh. Wow.
I'm qualified now.
Were you named in it?
I think I was in a couple, but in a couple I wasn't.
You might have been the same nurse then.
No, because I characterised her differently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she had different needs, different motivations each time. So
I like the needs of the nurse.
Oh, she's got needs. She's a woman still. She may be a nurse.
Yeah, I'm not questioning her essential femininity. Who did you tend as a nurse?
I delivered Honey's second baby. And there were some issues. The baby was
Wasn't that the Blue
breathing.
Peter Labrador?
Yeah, I also boxed up the Blue Peter turtle as well.
Oh, that was
they're called tortoise. The baby wasn't breathing. That's why I had to resuscitate.
Oh, so you were a heroic figure.
Well, come on now, it's just a job.
Yeah. I love that you've adopted that noble thing.
Yeah, well, you got to.
Yeah, and what else did you? What was your other nursing?
Well, I did 2 babies because Max, Oscar, the Max is obviously, because you're a big fan of EastEnders, his child was born, but it was too late to get to the hospital. So I was his midwife, so he had to ring me up. So I had to tell him what to do over the phone.
Oh, I see. It's one of those, like when a plane is... when the pilot collapses and they have to phone in and say it's the red lever on your left. It was like that.
Yeah, it's something like that, but with a bit more squidgy, yeah.
Yeah, and towels and hot water, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. You've seen the film.
Okay. Well, I think that's brilliant. I mean, it is at the end of the day a national institution, EastEnders.
It has become a very miserable national institution.
There's so many of those, aren't there? Take, for example, Her Majesty the Queen. Yes, I played a nurse once for her. She had no idea. I found a white coat in the closet. I just went in and dealt with her...
Piles.
Yeah. That's all right.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Yeah, that was Trophy Wife.
Frank, Andy won't try your roast dinner crisps.
I know. What is it with you? Are you one of these crazy
You're such
women
a dobber.
who...
I know. I told
Are you on a diet or something like that? You won't eat crisps.
It's the flavour.
It's for comic relief. Eat it. Eat it.
It feels wrong to eat crisps for starving Africans. It's not really...
Why?
Well, they're starving.
Yeah, but, we're sending them a couple of boxes.
Well, so is Jimmy Carr, but we're still eating his crisps.
I'm not eating his crisps. Can I point that out?
Your one's the only one that doesn't sort of make a play on words of your name.
Yeah,
Frank Roast. I've never had a Frank Roast.
Frank Roast Dinner.
Oh, Dinner Skinner.
It's idiotic, Eureka. Hey. Yes.
Oh.
No.
That is quality, that.
Yeah.
Shall I have one? I might... all right.
Go on, have one.
Oh, God.
Meanwhile, we had Milton Jones on last week, and he was telling us about when he did a nightmarish gig, and Jeremy Clarkson heckled him.
Right.
Now, I read that you hosted Funny Women, which is a stand-up show for female comics, isn't it? And a physical fight broke out. What on earth did you do to cause such a ruckus?
Why is it me? Why do you think it was me? It was a guy. He turned up. He was off his nut. He was so drunk, but he was in a suit and everything. And
it's a common combination, isn't it?
It was just too early in the evening for that type of. It was at 7:30. The show started, and he kicked off about 8 o'clock. And so they had to get the the
security.
No, the ones that are...
Militia?
Guards,
Pretend police. Guards.
Yeah.
The tent
community
police.
support officers.
Community support officers.
The pretend police.
Oh, yeah, the pretend police.
Like the hobby bobbies or whatever they call them. Okay. And I got a couple of them in, and then the real police turned up, and they literally had to physically carry him out of the.
Were you on
Leicester Square
stage
Theatre.
at the time?
Yeah, and I was trying to carry on, but you literally looked out, and everybody was watching what was going on because he was like, and then apparently some woman went. From the audience, she went, Andy, he said just before they took him out, leave me alone, I'm trying to watch the film.
That's quite drunk.
Yeah.
I went to a thing in Birmingham once, in Cannon Hill Park, and there was a man wrestling a bear in a boxing ring. It was quite a big thing. And a big dog fight happened. 2 dogs started fight at the back, and everyone turned and watched that. There was a man wrestling a bear with no one looking at him. Now, you'd think... It's just that we didn't believe the man. We didn't believe there was going to be true bloodshed from the bear.
Whereas the dogs...
Yeah, the dogs, you knew they meant it. They were for real. I think that was a moment when I realised that reality TV was the future. You're also a Reiki practitioner.
Yes.
Now, is that like a head massage?
No.
Oh.
It's not. It doesn't necessarily involve touching.
Okay. So you could do it from the other side of the desk?
You can... Well,
you're not doing it now, are you?
Could be. No, you have to ask permission. You can't just... Yeah. But some people do it remotely.
You have to ask permission, that rules you out, Frank.
And you have to train to... You
don't train, you just sort of... Your energy system is aligned to Reiki energy so that you become a conduit for it, for the person that you're healing.
Okay. Doesn't that mean you contain salt and pepper? So, how do you become a practitioner, though? You must have... How do you learn?
You do, too.
Do you get a certificate?
Yeah, but it's just to say that you have had your energy systems aligned by a Reiki master, and then you do level 1 and then a level 2 version of that. But in between 1 and 2, you want to have done lots of practice.
So what would... If I got Reiki'd, is that what you'd call it?
Yeah, go on, why not?
What would the benefit be for me?
It depends what's going on with you. How are you feeling today, Frank?
I feel fantastic.
Well,
I'm eating my own crisps. Does life get any better than that?
You're right. So. You're eating crisps with your face on it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, not the actual individual crisps.
I wish they'd done that.
That would have been good.
Oh, man, that would have been
I don't know how they would have done it, with paprika or something, and a stencil.
Yeah, but my problem... that's a good method. The trouble is, you know, when you did the last crumb, the crumb slide at the end.
Yeah.
There would be eyes and ears and nostrils.
Yeah. And I find the crumb slide is always a little bit too salty. It sort of spoils the overall enjoyment.
It's my favourite bit.
Is it really?
Is it?
Maybe it's the crisps I'm eating, like kettle chips and McCoy's.
Salt flavoured.
Oh, yes. yeah, basically.
So if I wanted to be Reiki healed, would I have to pay you for it?
Not me. I don't charge.
Oh, you don't charge?
No, because when you do Reiki healing, you yourself as a practitioner experience the healing energy of Reiki as well.
Oh, so it's a two-way street?
Oh,
Reiki
hell
healing.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, actress, Reiki practitioner, receptionist, stand-up comedian.
Can I help you?
Yeah. Is that what you say with the Reiki?
Yeah, why not?
Reiki practitioner, can I align your energies? So the tour begins in Stockton.
It does. Living the dream, rock and roll.
Yeah, come on. Get out to the people. And that'll be February the 1st, is it? February the 1st. And the your stand-up for the week Channel 4 show is back in March.
This is correct.
Okay, well, it's all going rather well, I think, for Andi Osho. It's lovely to see you.
And you.
And good luck for the tour. And are you doing London?
No, but might be. Looking at a London date, but nothing confirmed just yet.
Well, if you do, I'll come. I'll pay.
Oh, no. Just a two-way thing, tickets for your show or something of equivalent value.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe I can do some Swahilian head massage.
Or some crisps. I would take crisps, actually.
You'd take crisps?
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. There you go, I'll have 2 tickets.
Hey, 15 packets of crisps.
This is Frank Skinner.
Absolute
Radio.
So,
Frank, you'd had the very grumpy face then. If they'd have had that on your roast Skinner dinner crisps, they wouldn't be flying off the shelves. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. Are they flying off the shelves?
Well, they will be.
I think those are the Gareth Richards chicken wing crisps. You know what I'm talking about? There's nothing on a chicken wing either.
I know.
It's essentially, it's like eating, I think it's like eating one of those bows that you play a violin with. If you can imagine a meat version of that. It's like eating the got off a violin bow, eating a chicken wing.
Quite hairy as well.
You are. Anyway, so there's been a bit of a
feathery, if anything.
Feathery, fluffy.
Stop it, you two.
There's downy. There's been a bit of a kerfuffle in the House of Commons this week. Now, we can't actually give the details of what was said, but the Speaker of the House, is it David Bercow? It is David, isn't he?
Isn't it John?
Is it? Oh, John, yeah.
Yeah. He's one of your favourites. You were, don't pretend like you don't know him. You were sucking up to him. That night we went to the House of Commons, you were all over him.
I just spoke to him. What do you mean I was all over him? He's only about 5'1". I couldn't help but be all over him. It was like talking to a bollard. Anyway, he... incidentally, do you remember the baby Bercow?
The baby Bercow?
The baby Bercow used to be a small sort of mini washing machine.
Oh.
It didn't twirl, it just heated. That you used to put babies' nappies in to clean them.
Oh, really?
Do you remember the baby Bercow?
Well, the smallest man could use it as a washing machine.
Yeah, he could use it as a isolation bath, whatever they call them. Yeah, he could. He would just about fit in. It's called a baby burko. And that, in the days when people used to wash nappies rather than leave them on the side of the road full of excrement, which is what people think. They think that's all right to do. Yeah? Then people used to wash the, empty them, as it were, and then wash them in a baby burko. I just wondered if he's part of the same burko. Anyway, apparently what I didn't know is that when the Speaker walks through the halls of the House of Commons, is that if you see him coming the other way, you're supposed to turn away, get out of his way and face away from him out of respect.
Like Ben Jones does to you.
Yeah, I think that's just because he hates me. But or Barry Manilow. Barry Manilow used to insist that when he walked on stage,
you can't look at him.
No, when he walked on stage, everybody, the stagehands and everyone, had to turn and face the wall.
Wow.
I think Mariah Carey as well.
Don't look back in anger.
Yeah, I met them.
That is weird, isn't it? That there's rules like that.
I met them that they have to face me, but they have to stay still, even if I look really, really, really close, and just put a little finger about an inch into their nostril. They can't move; they just have to look at me. But the man said to him, "You're not swear word royalty."
Yeah.
Wow.
I say swear word royalty. I mean, to Mr. Speaker, he wouldn't have said that to.
And what I like was after the argument, the Speaker said, "Well, a good morning to you, sir," which I thought was a brilliant riposte, like a Victorian riposte.
The next time somebody swears at me, that's what I'm going to say back to them, I think. They've actually brought out a T-shirt, I noticed, with that on.
Oh, have they?
Something, it says, like, Mr. Speaker, you're not swear word royalty. And no comma after Mr. Speaker.
Oh, that's outrageous.
So the House of Commons, but certainly not the House of Commas. I say certainly not the House of...
Yeah, we heard you.
Crisps? Anyone?
I find it very odd that there's this whole T-shirt industry going on in the Houses of Parliament.
Yeah.
Like they get T-shirts printed. My MP fiddled his expenses and all I got was this lousy T-shirt, things like that.
Well, I just... The idea of an MP in a T-shirt disgusts me.
It's very regional jumble sale.
They need to be in suits. It's like when they choose Arctic monkeys on Desert Island Disc. Just, own up. Anyway, Sarah Millican's our guest next week. That'll be lovely. Your Twitter friend.
Oh, we've been tweeting a lot.
Yes, about brass. Stop it. And Not the Weekend podcast will be available from Wednesday. That is a podcast which is completely separate from this show. You can only hear it on the internet. And what about that? And Ben Jones is up next. Is there any other business I have to deal with? I'm on my way to watch West Bromwich Albion play Blackpool.
Ben Jones is averting his gaze from you, like the Speakers.
I haven't even met his gaze. Where are they? I thought he did the show on his own. Oh, well, I look forward. Anyway, Ben's next, and goodbye.
You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Treebor Soft Mints, bringing a softer, mintier feel to your Saturday morning.